age?
So everyone deals with their treatment differently. For me, I didn't get into the technical terms of all the medications I was on. I didn't Google or search it up or try to figure out what was going on. I just had faith in my doctors and my team, and they did a wonderful job. They kept me going. I had 4 months of chemo, 4 weeks of that on a drug called the Red Devil. I had 2 surgeries, one to remove the girls that tried to kill me, and 19 lymph nodes. The second surgery gave me bigger girls, and then I did 29 days of radiation. We are what cancer looks like.
That's right. Okay, so after thinking for almost a year that this other HMO was literally trying to kill me, I finally, praise God, got a full-time job. Went back to work in January, immediately went to see the breast surgeon that treated my grandmother and scheduled a double mastectomy. I'm thinking, oh, I can do this right now. Can we go today? No, you gotta wait, you gotta make sure, get the pathology reports and everything. This other HMO took probably 2 or 3 months to get everything sent. Even what my mother went to go get wasn't my full medical record. So fast forward, he says, Dr. Boubert says, yeah, you should have done this last year, but I get it, I know what happened, but your best option is a double mastectomy, possibly chemo and radiation thereafter. Had the hardest thing for me to do was talk to my mother. My mother's no nonsense, she
Take your time.
she's been through so much, that I've taken her through, and just being a parent. So I told her, and she was like, well, okay, that's fine, whatever you want to do is fine. Just get them off. And my aunt, who I refer to all the time, she's my angel, she was like, girl, just get them off. My son, you need to rock that like your aunt rocks it. So I said, okay, that. Had the double mastectomy, July 8th. September 9th, I was 3 months out, and I felt amazing. However, I had this hot spot on my thigh, and I couldn't figure out what it was. I kept telling my mom, for probably the first 2 or 3 weeks after the surgery, I was in the ED every other day, seemed like. I felt like I had the flu. My body would ache. I was in a lot of pain, but this was really, really bothering me. So I went to the hematologist and oncologist. Oh, your iron level is 6. I said, what you mean, 6, like 6, the number 6? Yes. I said, well, wait a minute. It's supposed to be what, 13 or higher? Did you lose a lot of blood doing surgery? You got the result. You got all of that. Why are you asking me right now? I don't know. Right now, I'm doing good to know my name. Okay? The anger is way up in the air, and I can't do this. You need to take some initiative and be the doctor. Well, we're going to give you some iron infusions, but we need to make sure you don't have an infection, because if you have an infection with the iron infusion, that'll, something crazy, she said, kill you or something. I was like, okay, well, whatever. Well, what are we going to do? Check this hot spot. Oh, it's probably just MRSA. I said, really? Don't people die from that? I don't need another issue. Please. If I go home and tell my mother I got MRSA, she'll probably be like my grandmother. Clorox everything. What is that? So, went to have this hot spot ultrasound. It was another mass. They immediately sent me to the general surgeon. The general surgeon said, well, we need to cut it out. Well, come on, we might as well cut it out, because I can't feel like this anymore. I need my iron levels to increase. Because of my iron levels being so low, I couldn't get any treatment. the mask prevented me, I have BRCA1 and BRCA2 from the gene, and also FANC, FANCC, which I found out 3 or 4 days ago, is the reason why my iron level potentially dropped, that in this mask. So everything had to be placed on hold until this was figured out. Got the mask cut out. Thank God it was benign. Amen. But I also had another one over here that they took out. All benign. Amen. So I decided I can't do any more treatment. This tamoxifen is enough for me. I have a deal with the oncologist and the hematologist and God and Jesus and everybody else, and this is what I'm going to do. And until such time something changes, that's going to be my treatment. Amen. And pray. All right, ma'am.
Treatment for me, it started out with 6 months of aggressive chemotherapy and then surgery. After surgery, I had 42 rounds of radiation, and I had chauffeurs doing radiation. Radiation is real quick, so instead of driving to park, Reverend Gentry came to drop me off, Deborah Marine came to drop me off, Shauna Bellamy dropped me off, and my husband, Corey Bellamy. And so, thank God for the chauffeurs doing radiation. After radiation, I had surgery next. And it consisted of the lumpectomy and also lymph node dissection because the cancer had spread under my arm. After radiation, I had 6 more months of targeted drugs infusions. I'm currently on a drug called tamoxifen for the next 8 years.
So I had a double mastectomy by choice because my doctor told me there was a 45% chance of the cancer coming into my other breast. The day that I was diagnosed, I actually was kind of inadvertently wearing pink cowboy boots. And I kept them on until the day of my mastectomy. So part of my treatment was to buy pink cowboy boots. But I had a double mastectomy. I did 6 rounds of chemo. I did 6 weeks of radiation. And a year to the day of my diagnosis, they found 5 spots on my chest wall. And my doctor said, typical triple negative, it comes back with a vengeance, so we're gonna go back on chemo. So I went back on chemo, did 4 more rounds of chemo, and when I went in to have my implants put in, my little fake boobs are bigger than the ones that tried to kill me. I did more chemo, and when I went back in, the cancer was gone. Amen. And I'm here.
Well, initially I was scheduled to have a lumpectomy. So the doctors decided that they wanted to do a bilateral biopsy via MRI to make sure that I didn't have any cancer in the right breast. Those tests came back benign. I didn't have anything in the right breast, which was great. So I went from having to have a lumpectomy to now having to have a mastectomy because they found another lump in the left breast. That was stage 0. Well, at that time, I opted to have a double mastectomy, a bilateral mastectomy. Well, I had to end up going through 4 weeks of physical therapy. I had to have several rounds of iron infusion. Fortunately, I didn't have to have chemo. Yes. I didn't have to have radiation. And I didn't have to take tamoxifen. Yeah. And that's because I found it very, very early. Early detection is key. Yes. Now, don't get it twisted. Because my breast cancer was hormonal, I had to have a full hysterectomy. And ladies, I know y'all know
consisted of 4 hours of radiation, not radiation, it was chemo. It was 4 hours of chemo every Wednesday for 16 weeks. Sitting right beside me was either my daughter and or my son holding my hand, getting me through the process. When that was over, they went under my little arm, they took 12 lymph nodes out, 6 of those were cancerous, and then they told me we're gonna take that right breast response. I said, you know what? Take both of them. My grandmother died from breast cancer. I don't wanna have to go through this later on, so they took both of them. Good news, though, I can get some new ones. There's always a catch, right? She said, you can get some new ones in like 6 weeks if you get the same size that you already had. But if you want to wait for a couple of months, you can get some big ones. For what I had, what you know, right? What you know. But there was one more catch to that. Because the cancer had been in the right breast, they had to radiate it. So I had to go through radiation on this side of my body, on this right breast, for 3 months weekly. The whole front of me was black. The whole back of me was black. It was just like, I don't even know what to say I looked like, because it was a complete even square all the way around. Okay, so when that was all finished, I'm thinking, okay, I'm good. I have 2 new breasts, they're all nice. This one is all nice and soft and good. This one they radiated, bionic. It needs to be massaged and exercised every day. Or else the scar tissue inside will get really hard, so.
They called me and my husband in to come and meet the entire treatment team. So initially they said I had stage 3 breast cancer with an 8-centimeter breast tumor, positive lymph node, and I was triple positive, meaning that the cancer grows primarily from hormones, the estrogen, progesterone, and the HER2 receptor. And they said they looked under the microscope and it moved really, really quick. Because I was concerned, I was like, well, why did it so fast? And they was like, you did everything that you could. So the hormone makes a little bit of sense because 5 years prior, my husband and I struggled with infertility, and the year directly prior, we had an IVF. And it wasn't successful, but that made me understand that the cancer just grew rapid because all the hormones I was taking and all the shots that I was administering. So my doctor reassured me, said it wasn't your fault, you tried your hardest to get it, you did ultrasounds and everything like that. So during the meeting, they asked me, did I have any pain anywhere? And I was like, well, yeah, I had some rib pain. And I went snowboarding a few months before. I'm good, I'm good. I felt a little bit, not a little bit. And I got an x-ray, and they said it was a contusion, right? So because the x-ray can't see cancer. So then I was like, yeah, then I was having some hip pain. I was limping a little bit, but I thought it was some sciatica. I did some stretching and some yoga. And, it went away, the pain went away. And they was like, well, since you're having pain and you have a positive lymph node for cancer, we need to do a full body scan. So they did a CT scan and they did a bone scan. And then they said, after you get that done, go and get your IV port placed because you're going to get chemo, you're going to get radiation, and you're going to get the mastectomy. So I was like, okay. And, we was optimistic about the plan. So they called me 2 days before I was supposed to get the port placed, and they're like, stop, don't go. And I'm like, why? Wow, you see something? I said, oh, they saw something on the scan. I know they saw something on the scan. I'm like, what you see? She's a nurse. She's like, I can't tell you. Just don't go get the port and come meet the doctor. And so I went to meet the doctor, me and my husband, and he sat me down, and he said, and mind you, everything he's saying is like going phew, phew, phew. And even though I'm a nurse, I still don't understand everything. He's like, well, looks like you have stage 4 metastatic breast cancer. And it metastasized to your rib, to your hip, a few spots in your spine, and your lungs. And I had a cough, but I thought it was allergies. See how we do? So like I said earlier, treatment for me is a little bit different. I also had genetic testing.
And I did not test positive for BRCA gene, but they did say I have a genetic trait for colon cancer. So now I have to get screened for that. So now treatment for me would be lifelong. I will never be in remission. I would have to get scans every 3 months to show and see if the cancer has spread. Because the medication I take is keeping everything at bay at this point. I don't need a mastectomy because at this point it's already spread everywhere. So why I get the scans is because I take medication every day, oral chemo, and if that medication stops working, I have to do a new one. And then the same thing, a scan, if it shows progression, which it can spread to my liver and my brain, I have to get a new medication, and a new medication, and a new medication, and a new medication, and a new medication, until the rest of my life until I meet my terminal fate.
That's right, that's okay.
No, it's okay, Tom.
But I get 2 shots every month, and thank God I'm still on my first line of treatment for these 4 years I've been alive. So treatment for me is quality of life.
That's right, that's right.
Well, how do I know if I'm stressed out? How do I know? She said, how many times a day do you either think or say the word asshole?
And counting down.
So in my head, I don't think I really said it out loud a lot. That's not polite. But in my head, that was the name that I called both my husband. Sorry, Haley, my daughter's in the audience.
About breast cancer. It also gives me an opportunity to teach others to be advocates for their own health. As you heard me say earlier, if I would not have taken my health into my own hands and switched to a different doctor, I may not be here today. And so I want you to get to know your body. You know, ladies and men, get to know your body. If you feel something, it doesn't feel right, make that doctor's appointment and get checked out. If that doctor dismisses you, there's trillions of doctors out there. I don't know what the statistics is, but I'm saying there's lots of doctors, so you can make an appointment with someone else. And what's my last thing with surviving and thriving? So with me, I know that I'm blessed to be alive. I don't take it for granted. I thank God for keeping me here. I don't know why he kept me here, but I know that Jeremiah 29:11 tells us, for I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you a future and a hope. Amen?
All right. My passion for pink is power. What keeps me thriving and surviving? God, my faith. He has never, ever left me.
And never will.
No, overtaken. My loving and wonderful, my rock hard husband. Yes. Been there. From day one, he has been there, and my family, my children, my parents, my brother, everybody, my church family, everybody who has surrounded me and been there for me, they're the ones who help keep me going. Another thing that keeps me going is trying to advocate for awareness. For me to try to teach you and to educate you on taking care of yourselves. For you to realize that you are number one in your life.
that you need to be one with yourself and take care of your body. Don't neglect yourself. I think that's something that a lot of us do. We might see a sign, but we say, oh, it's not. That's not what it is. That's not what I think it is. It'll go away. This didn't go away. Be one with yourself. Know yourself, know your body. And what keeps me thriving is that I don't look like what I've been through. I live every day and every moment of my life like it's golden. And I believe, as Shonte said, I want that quality of life to be here so that every moment that I live, I can say, it's a new day, I feel good, I feel great. What is my purpose? What am I doing here? I was not spared to be silent.
Amen.
Surviving and thriving. I've always been told that God never gives you more than you can handle. See, I'm a fighter. I'm the one in the group that's always, let's go, we're gonna get together, we're gonna do everything. I'm the party one. I keep everybody going in my little crew. That's me.
Yes, believe it.
And my main purpose in all of this is that I want to make sure that I spread the word that you have to know your body. You have to know what's going on. You have to touch yourself. You have to feel yourself. So many of us are scared to explore our bodies. Know what's going on with yourself so that you can get to a doctor. Like you heard all of these ladies say, early detection is the key to survival. You know, when everything first happened, I felt, not my people around me, I felt like I was by myself because I'm like, something else is going on. I had just went through a great big thing in my health like 10 years ago, and it sort of like crushed me. And then here we go, 10 years later, I'm thinking I'm getting ready to turn 60, I'm getting ready to have a good time, and they're telling me, you got cancer, okay? So what I had to do was surround myself with positive energy. Positive energy, like you heard me say, get rid of all of that stuff that's not right. You have to have a good support system of friends, family, who will walk you through the journey, hold your hand, lift you up. I'm just gonna stretch right out and say, my crew is here tonight. They do everything with me, for me, to me. I got one girlfriend who tells me, you get one time to cry this month. She sits there and lets me cry on the phone. She says, okay, we finished now. Put your big panties on, it's over. And the conversation ends. So you have to have that positive reinforcement that keeps you going. And every day when I wake up, I open my eyes, I tell God thank you, I give him praise because I didn't have to be here. And I want to go back and touch on something else that Tasha said that I didn't think I would talk about, but I can remember when I went through the medicine and all, and my hair was bald, and my nails were gone, and I weighed 99 pounds. And my son was mad because I was looking online for a pad butt. You know, we're women, and that's what we do. That's what we do, because we want